Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome into Denver Sports Coffee Break. We've got Rachel and DMAC, and Rachel is trying to figure out what to order DMAC from Starbucks because she did, in fact, lose the coffee bet yesterday.
I got to admit, Rachel, I'm an idiot, and I forgot what the bet. I knew we did a bet, but I swear to God, I woke up today and I forgot what the bet was. What was the bet?
It was that the Houston Texans would not announce D'Amico Ryans as their head coach yesterday after they said they completed the second interview. And then it's funny how they did it 10 minutes after the Broncos announced Sean Payton.
Now, and what did I say? I said they had wrapped things up, they were having lunch, and they were finalizing the deal.
Okay, quick question. Do you like warm drinks or cold drinks?
I want you to surprise me. I want you to have some fun with it. I win, you lose. So, make it interesting, Rachel. Make it interesting. And if you need me to blather on about something, I will while you focus. So you just let me know. But I want you to you try to figure me out.
Well, I'm debating, and maybe we'll let the comments decide. Should I get DMAC what I typically drink? It's hopefully going to get delivered during the show, which will be hilarious. Or should I try and guess something DMAC would like? Let us know in the comments, and I'll try and put an order here.
Well, you got like 2 minutes to figure that out. Now, I'm telling you,
more fast.
The Starbucks is, I could almost, throw a football over a mountain. I'm telling you, it's close. I promise you, during coffee break, if I wanted to, which would be funny, I could just walk to the Starbucks, order the drink in line, and walk back home all during coffee break, no problem. Easy.
And it would honestly probably take the order eats delivery driver. It's probably going to come around like 11:15.
No, I know. That's why I'm like, you just better. I appreciate the comment section and all that, but you better just make a decision here, Rachel. Okay.
I hate this so much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, I'll just blather for a second while you focus.
Give us the details. You said you have some details on the contract. Give it to it while I order this. Everybody, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Thanks.
Well, here's why I made that bet in the first place. Is because we've just seen these scenarios play themselves out, Rachel. And we had conflicting reports from Adam Schefter and Mike Kliss and Ian Rappaport about the Broncos still being in the mix or trying to be in the mix for D'Amico Ryans even earlier in the day, like while he was with the Texans. And I do believe there's elements of truth to it on both sides. I can see where D'Amico Ryans people, yes.
Do you like sweet drinks?
Look at me. Do I look sweet?
Would you be willing to try a sweet drink?
Of course. I'll try.
What size would you like?
I make it easy on yourself.
Okay. Continue.
Okay, thank you. Then see, now the fun of it is just trying to figure out and seeing what you will get for me. That's actually the whole fun of everything. I don't want to know anything else because I just want to, at some point during coffee break, answer the door and figure out what it is. And people will have to stick around for the end of coffee break to see what, if it happens. Like, is this really going to happen? And what the result is. But we'll find out. Back to the D'Amico Ryans stuff. I think what probably happened was the Broncos were interested in D'Amico Ryans right up until the moment they knew they couldn't get him. And I understand where the Broncos were saying, no, we never did anything. Nothing was ever happening. Mm-hmm. But the truth of the matter is there probably was something, Rachel, going on. Now, you get caught up in the semantics. Was it really Monday morning or Tuesday morning, rather? Was it Monday night? Was it here? Was it there? Was it us? Was it somebody else? And I think the Broncos were really interested in Ryans until they really realized he wasn't coming. So when Ryans people, probably, an agent, that's a yes on my part, tell Ian Rappaport, oh, no, the Broncos, hey, they were talking to us, blah, 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 blah. It's not like that was completely untrue, but that's probably exaggerated as well. Listen, it doesn't matter because the Broncos got Sean Payton. And what really needed to happen was for the Saints to lower the bar for what they wanted back in the trade. So I won this bet, Rachel, because history will tell you once it gets to a second interview and gets that far, okay, and there's nobody else scheduled in for a second interview, Rachel, it's done. It's done. You're seriously just in the building as like a coronation. You would have to do something so stupid to blow that second interview, or you would have to have a team come in during your interview itself and like have some sort of preposterous thing that you can't turn down. So I'm not saying it's not possible. It's just very improbable. And that's why I made the bet. So listen, I didn't know anything. I just know how NFL history tends to go. And I do know that there was pressure to get things done because you don't want to leave things hanging out there. And I also know this, Rachel, it's a race to get assistants. It is a race. And trust me, I have no doubts that D'Amico Ryans was at work yesterday trying to line up his assistants. And there's no doubt that he's in competition with everybody else out there. That's why the Cardinals and the Colts, they got to get going. And I'd be surprised if we don't find out today, tomorrow, latest on Friday, who their coach is, because you have, Rachel, the Broncos had 30-something assistant coaches. 30. I mean, it's mind-blowing. And the primary assistants, your offensive coordinator, DC, special teams coach, and quarterback coach, that's kind of your big four. That's they're hard to come by. That's not easy to find. So there's the fact that this process took so long only lasted until other teams started to fall. So the Broncos were ready. They were ready with the deal. I think, Rachel, they wanted to give up less. I think the Saints wanted more. The true area compromise is where both parties are kind of pissed off. And that's probably what happened. Both sides are probably a little the Saints didn't get what they wanted. The Broncos probably gave up more than they wanted. And the result at the end of the day, if you really want to simplify it, because you look at, they lost this pick for that pick, but that pick to this, forget all that. The simplest way to think of this whole deal, Rachel, is you just traded Bradley Chubb for Sean Payton. That's it. But let me tell you this.
Not bad.
At this moment, the ink is not dry on a contract. And there's reports out there that it's going to be 5 years, 17 to 20. That's not done. And, that's, kind of an awkward situation for everybody because the deal is not inked. It's not done. If it was done, Sean Payton would be talking today. Never mind talking on Monday or later on, Rachel. D'Amico Ryans isn't going to wait around. I mean, that's going to happen like that. No, it's a deal in principle, and it's going to happen. But it's not done, and you won't see Sean Payton in the building until it's done. And that's why things are going to take a few days. I have no doubts it is going to happen. But there was a sense of urgency to announce it, Rachel, because you had the Texans about to admit, and they did. It almost happened simultaneously. And if you remember, Rachel, final part of this rant, Aaron Rodgers news came out, and 2 hours later, you heard about the Russell Wilson deal being done too. This is the way it kind of goes. There are certain dominoes that have to fall, and I think you'd have to be a fool to think it's coincidental.
Interesting. I like this little extra tidbit. I will say I got your coffee ordered. Estimated arrival is 10:50. So 10.
All right.
So the coffee is coming, everybody. Twitter made sure to let me know that I owed you coffee, so I paid my bet. I hope you like it. Otherwise, it's a solid $15 wasted.
$15? Wow.
$15, yeah. It's not cheap to do food delivery. Anyways, we do have Will Peterson hanging with us this morning, as we will welcome him in here shortly to get his take too, because I didn't get to hear either one of you yesterday on your takes about Sean Payton and, everything that kind of unfolded. So good morning, Will. Thank you for hanging with us. Give us your take. First impression, Sean Payton to the Denver Broncos. Are you happy or are you sad?
Oh, I'm thrilled. I mean, we have to remember the 36-day journey was turbulent, right? It was rough. If we were on a plane, we had our barf bag. We were all sick of it. Broncos country was sick of it. And then guess what? Yesterday afternoon, about 2:30, we landed in Hawaii and everything was beautiful because Sean Payton was waiting for us on the runway. Guys, if I had told you on December 27th hey, you're going to get Sean Payton, we would have been jumping for joy, running around. It was Sean Payton or Jim Harbaugh. They got one of the top two. It was a really weird process to get there. No one's going to deny that. It was a frustrating process to get there. No one's going to deny that. But they still landed on one of the two guys we all wanted. And I'll put another one on you. Imagine if I had told you 10 and a half months ago, Russell Wilson's the quarterback and Sean Payton's the head coach. You would have told me I was drunk. Yeah, I know Russell Wilson had a really bad 2022, but if anyone can fix Russ, it's Sean. Because guess what? If Russ doesn't get fixed this year, then Russ is cooked.
Well, that is such a wild thing. I would say if you put that in front of me, I would say there's a better chance of a movie coming out about a bear on cocaine rather than that. That's how crazy that would be. Cocaine bear. Arr.
Cocaine bear. Arr.
That ad is wild, and we have hit a very low point of movies. We don't even need to go into that. I'm just saying we've hit a low point of movies.
It's like based on a true story, like Home Team, the Sean Payton thing is based on a true story. And this is.
I wonder if you've seen that movie.
I'm watching it right now.
Oh, I saw it.
I should say I'm rewatching it because I've already watched it. And he's got a secretary that calls Roger Goodell. His wife is married to, in her second marriage to Rob Schneider, who is a very earthy, vegan sort of weirdo. Like how she fell in love with him after Sean Payton is anybody's guess. And his son hates his guts until he's going to save the team. And I'm at the part now where he's saving the team. He also has a hot tub in his executive suite at like the Days Inn. And the hot tub, the filter just drives him nuts. Mm-hmm. You know, so that's where I am on my rewatch of Home Team. But I'll have a fuller review. It won't be Rooftop Richie like with The Bachelor. But on Coffee Break tomorrow, I can give you a deeper dive.
Should I watch it tonight too?
I think you should watch it because the first question I'm going to ask of Sean Payton is, hey, coach, in the movie Home Team, you made a radical change in the offensive system right away. It was obvious to you. Do you see some obvious changes that need to be made to the Broncos, like your character, Kevin James, played you in Home Team? I promise you.
They're going to fall in love with D-Mac in that moment, or D-Mac just became enemy number one here in Denver.
I have no idea if that's going to come across as really funny or just the biggest, most awfulest question in the world. It's too late. It's in my head. I can't shake it. That will be the first question I will ask to Sean Payton.
Rachel, the movie was terrible. Like, flat out awful. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. It was really, really poorly done.
Well, wait. What? Why was it one of the worst movies you ever? You didn't find it interesting that the 14-year-old kicker would find inspiration from a love interest and be able to kick field goals for passion and love?
No. I'm old school. I'll watch The Little Giants. How's that sound, D-Mac? You remember The Little Giants in the mid-90s?
Wait.
What about
you didn't like the concept?
What about Air Bud? That's how you make a kid sports movie.
You didn't like the concept? You didn't like the concept of an inebriated, drunk assistant coach who couldn't put a chain on his bike the whole movie?
No. And what's
the movie with The Rock and like the little girl?
Oh. Yeah, that's another football movie. That's a little after my time, though. I'm a solid mid-90s sports movie guy. I reeled off 3 of them. Jake says it's called The Tooth Fairy. I'm not sure, though.
I don't know. Anyways, besides the point. This is all besides the point. I'll watch it tonight with you, D-Mac. We can give our full recap tomorrow.
Yeah, watch it tonight. Netflix, Home Team.
It's so bad, Rachel. I'm just warning you.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We do have to ask, though, because this is kind of the major news and the rumors are going around at who's going to be the DC for Sean Payton. Is it going to be Vic Fangio or is it going to be Ejiro Evero? Your take right now will hit it.
Well, listen, Mike Kliss said last night that is Sean Payton's choice. The Broncos love Ejiro Evero, and he's obviously under contract. But Adam Schefter, guys, reported on December 24th. When I wrote this for DenverSports.com, I went back and looked. That was 2 days before they fired Hackett, that Sean Payton and Vic Fangio wanted to work together in 2023 and form a top coaching duo where Payton could focus on the offense and Fangio could focus on the defense. Kudos to Schefter. He had that report, 6 weeks ago? Well, now that we're here and he's in Denver, we've seen guys come back before. Obviously, Wade Phillips did it. But Vic Fangio got fired only 13 months ago. Wade was 20 years in his stints before he left and came back? It feels just a little bit too soon. But at the same time, I don't think things are really peachy with Evero either. So I think that bridge maybe has been burned as well. If it's me, I suck up the awkwardness and I hire Vic Fangio.
D-Mac?
I think the Broncos want Evero to come back. I have a very good feeling about that. But at the same time, I do believe they are very aware of how comfortable they want Sean Payton to feel. So I think it'll be an interesting push-pull. If Evero does not get a head coaching job, I'm going to say he sticks around for a year. Because guess what, guys? You could always hire Fangio next year if you really wanted to. It's not like, he's going anywhere. Even if he takes
the Miami job or the San Francisco job.
Yeah, so what? You could always entice them over to the Broncos. I think the reason why Fangio is really interested is because he would know he would have a significant amount of autonomy. He would be a virtual head coach again, and he's got a good relationship with Sean Payton. And, listen, talk to anybody who knows Fangio. He likes the money, and the most money probably would come in that role. I just think the Broncos really like Evero. I think they really, really like him. And I think they respect his loyalty. And, to me, how I feel about the 2023 season anyway. So I'm at a bit of yeah. And Fangio to me was deadwood. There's nothing interesting to me about Dick Fangio whatsoever. So I don't think it makes the Broncos better. I don't care if he's friends with Peyton. I think sometimes you got to do things that put you in a little bit of an uncomfortable situation, not too comfortable. So I'm all for Evero. I'm not against Fangio. I'm not going to write a column, I'm not going to pay off a charity because of it. I'm not going to do any of those things. But I'm just more comfortable, I think, with Evero. And, paying off charities is something I love doing. But I'm not going to do it.
My only concern, and just because of, it just seems like, and I think, like we said, Evero has a ton of loyalty to Hackett, to, his friends and such. And he obviously wants the head coaching job. But I'm just worried that he doesn't want to be with this organization anymore. Does anyone else get that vibe? Because I just have that gut feeling slightly that he's I'm not happy with things that have conspired here. I'm just over it. I want to get on and move on.
But the Kevin James character of Sean Payton in the movie Home Team, you take an awkward situation and you just sort of say, okay, we're here together. We got to figure this out. It's kind of like in the beginning part of the movie. And now, let me tell you, in the beginning part of the movie, things do go poorly between the two. There is a conflict that does arrive. But then, right before the championship game, there's some sort of bonding moment. Perhaps it's the equal love of Justin Simmons bringing them together. Maybe it's Patrick Surtain's greatest role isn't as a cornerback. It's about a peacemaker. And then that's when you ride off together in the championship. So if we're in this movie together, yeah, it's going to be a little awkward in the beginning, and likely there'll be some conflicts as well. But then at the end of the movie, the popcorn is gone because you're sitting next to Rachel, and everybody's smiling because it was a happy ending, except for scrappy Will Peterson, who does not like happy endings.
Hey, listen, I think Rachel... D-Mac, for as well done as that was, and it was well done, I think Rachel is on to something. Ejiro Evero doesn't want to be with the Denver Broncos. He's under contract with the Denver Broncos, but I think he would take a lateral move to go be the DC somewhere else, even if he doesn't get a head coaching job. And I think for the Broncos, it would be very easy to let him out of his contract caveat of, oh, well, we're bringing in Vic Fangio, so of course we had to let him go. I think it's
But
probably best for hold on. He's Hackett's best friend. How awkward is that? Aren't you trying to wash your hands of Nathaniel Hackett? How awkward is it to keep Nathaniel Hackett's best friend on Sean Payton's staff?
Awkward.
Is he frozen?
No, he's there. You could see him.
Over here, just like you just told me to stop, so I just stopped. Yeah. Oh, doorbell.
The coffee.
Doorbell. Should I go get it?
Go get the coffee.
All
it's
right.
good here. I'm a little nervous. Oh, ding dong, coffee has arrived. It's there. Will, besides like all history aside, who would you rather have the DC? Like, who can provide a better defense for this Broncos team?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Vic Fangio had some really good defenses in San Francisco and Chicago, right? There's a reason it took him so long to get a head coaching job, because he was a D coordinator for years and years, Carolina, linebackers coach. But when he got to San Fran with Jim Harbaugh, and then when he got to Chicago, those defenses really took off. Evero may be a rising star in this league, and he may be great. And as D-Mac brings his coffee, well, listen, Evero's done it for 1 year. 1 year. Whereas Vic Fangio's done it for a lifetime. Sean Payton is here to win now, make the playoffs now. Vic Fangio can help do that now.
Okay, interesting. Let us know in the comments. Is D-Max going to pull out the coffee that I ordered him? My gosh, I am really hoping he likes it.
Can you see, Rachel?
I see it.
See it?
It looks good. EL's the best way to spell Rachel, just my personal opinion. But
oh, it's cold.
It's cold.
Oh, look at this. It's a caramel macchiato.
Yep. Give it a nice little tasty taste in there.
Yeah.
Delicious.
Is this something Cocaine Bear would like?
I don't think so. I will say I'm not much of a coffee drinker. A lot of people know this. So when I do drink like anything more than a grande coffee, I get a little shaky. So, but I know D-Mac drinks coffee every single day, but I didn't want to go too sweet on you. So I tried to find a middle ground because I know you're not a...
Ooh, this is like drinking ice cream. Wow. I'm sure this is really healthy.
Do you actually like it?
It's seriously like drinking a melted ice cream cone. Like, okay. I mean, that's what, wow. You know, I kind of get it. I kind of get why people might do this.
I'm glad I didn't send you the really sweet one then, because I think you would have got into a sugar high.
This isn't the really sweet one?
This is not.
Wow.
But I'm glad it's good. It's actually like, it's an espresso shot, milk, and a little bit of caramel in there. So
it's got pump caramel syrup.
Yep. It's delicious. It's delicious. Well,
thank you, Rachel. You are a wonderful person to bet with. I look forward to our next bet, whatever it may be.
Whatever it may be.
Rachel, I'm just impressed that you ordered that at like 10:40 and it was there at 10:52.
Hey,
make sure to tip your delivery driver. That was service right there.
Oh, big tip. Big tip. Huge tip.
My $4 coffee was $15, you guys. Okay, we're not messing around here.
I mean, it is comical. It's one. I mean, that was it. I mean, I got to admit, and I do delivery all the time. I would never. I mean, even me, as lazy as I am, I would never order one coffee to be delivered. Right. I mean, that is. I mean, that is comical.
So expensive. I could go into a whole rant about how expensive like food delivery services have become.
Yeah, but that's why when you do food delivery, you get a bunch of stuff. You don't get one thing unless you're the laziest person on earth, or you just lost a bet.
Or you just lost a bet and you have to do a live show with two great co-hosts on here. You guys, there's going to be so much Denver Broncos talk, Sean Payton talk. We're going to see the whole team build. Stay tuned to denversports.com. We will definitely keep you guys up to date on everything that you need to know regarding the coaching staff.
And by the way, real quick, I hope everybody noticed at denversports.com how right. I'm proud of our staff, man. It was like one column, one story after another. That was boom, boom, boom. It was accurate. It was absolutely measured in inside information and knowledge. It wasn't spitballing. And if you just go through the articles this past month, everybody was killing it. And there were a lot of twists and turns. And we've got the receipts at denversports.com. I encourage people to check out those receipts.
100%. Yeah. Huge shout out to Will, Jake, James, May, Cecil, everybody. DMAC, I know you're over there writing. You guys are absolutely killing it. So we got to give you credit where credit is due. And now we need to talk about a little bit of drama involving Bizzy Bones because things are getting very weird. And I have to say, we bring in Jake Shapiro, but DMAC, he led us on the right path with this one, DMAC. So we got to give you credit because you were the one that said, hey, there's something fishy going on with Bones Hyland and the Denver Nuggets. And do you have any more details that you can give us? Because things are getting a little iffy over there.
Well, I got tipped off about it. And, again, I'm not spitballing when I was speculating on this one. So I know that's maybe a contradiction. But, no, I was tipped off. Things weren't great. And things continue to not be great. And last night, it was funny being amongst the muggles in the Nuggets area. And I'm like, Jake, I mean, you must have felt that, like, why is nobody asking about Bones? I mean, the dude played for 4 minutes. He usually plays for 20. His body language on the bench is brutal. I mean, he is not part of team huddles. He sits on the very end of the bench. He does not seem to be engaged in anything. Never mind the story about him just maybe, leaving the arena, maybe, certainly walking off the court in the fourth quarter. And then only 4 minutes of playing time. And even in those 4 minutes, guys, he was a horrendous defensive liability and did nothing. And this is a game where the Nuggets shot 44.4% from the three-point line. The one thing that Bones is supposed to bring to the table, the Nuggets crushed it with. And if you're going to play Bones for 20 minutes and Jamal Murray for 37 to 38 minutes, well, at some point, guys, they've got to play together. You can't, they've got to be able to play together, and they're terrible together. And now what you're feeling is no production on the court for Bones and a bad chemistry vibe as well with the team. And so I did ask Michael Malone. I couldn't believe nobody brought it up. So if nobody's going to bring it up, I don't need to be Michael Malone's best friend. It would be cool to get a fat tire with him on a mountain bike ride sometime in the summer. And maybe that's what everybody else is bucking for, but I've given up on that dream. So I just simply asked him, where do you stand with Bones Hyland? And he was like, what? And I was like, where do you stand with Bones? I think the question is self-explanatory. And then he goes, I stand with Bones like I stand with all my other players. Yeah, okay. You benched the guy, okay? And Jake wrote, and Jake can explain more, this isn't the first game. He's been seeing less and less time as time has gone on.
Oh, you're muted.
DMAC, you mentioned the press conference last night where no one's asking about Bones. I walked into the locker room and everyone was shocked that I was in there to see if Bones would talk to me. Like, it's the number one story going on with the Nuggets right now is what's going on with Bones. So it's just kind of funny how everyone's treating this. But, this is the fourth time of the last 9 Nuggets games Bones Hyland has either been benched or missed the game. So there is something very weird going on here behind the scenes that we are not necessarily privy to, whether it's a personal matter. We know he's got a finger injury, but it is completely impacting the way the Nuggets are playing and his time with the Nuggets. What DMAC and I were bickering about at the end of yesterday's show, whether or not the Nuggets should trade Bones, I don't think matters. It doesn't matter what DMAC and I think at the end of the day. I think ultimately at this point, I was wrong yesterday when I said on the Zoakley show, I didn't think Bones was going to get traded. I think Bones is going to get traded. I don't think there's a question about it. Like, the proof is in the pudding. It's all right there. The bigger question to me now is, what do the Nuggets actually want back for Bones? They've said they want a defensive, bigger wing, add more versatility. We saw what that lineup looked like last night off the bench with Bruce Brown leading the second unit as the point guard. They couldn't score. Jamal Murray cannot be your only perimeter shot creator and playmaker. So I think the Nuggets need to go out and get another guard, which it's going to be really hard to flip Bones Hyland for a guard of equal value.
And let me add something in here because you guys were both at the game last night. The TNT sideline reporter, and I'm forgetting his name. Chris Haynes. Chris Haynes goes on air last night on TNT and has a report and this wasn't him spitballing, this was a report. Chris Haynes said that Bones Hyland, sources have confirmed to Chris Haynes, wants a bigger role and wants to seek a bigger role elsewhere. And that was disappointing because that was the first time someone had gone on the record reporting that this was about Bones' ego, that Bones wants a bigger role and not a championship. And I understand he's a second-year player and he's a young kid and he likes to fire the three. But, man, a championship ring is for a lifetime, Bones. And you could have been sixth man of the year if you would have just sat down and done your role. And instead, you ruined a good thing, Bones. This is Bones' fault. And go enjoy your big role in Charlotte and losing 50 games every year.
I love the fire, Will Peterson.
You know what? A ring's for a lifetime, Will. But so is making $25 million a year, which is what he can make if he continues to shoot as much as he does while being a starter.
Right,
but
being the sixth man of the year could create that opportunity for him.
Yeah, but Will,
18 months into his NBA career, and he nuked it because he's selfish.
Yeah, but Will, as soon as the Broncos, the Nuggets got healthy, the sixth man wasn't Bones; it was Bruce Brown, and
Who
Bruce
Jake
Brown
just said he can't score with. So Bones would have been that guy.
Well, Bruce has been. He can't create for himself to the level that was maybe hoped of once he came into the league. But Bruce is a great bench player and scores a ton of points. He just shouldn't be the point guard off the bench.
I'm with Will. I think how many players in the NBA would be like, I just want to win a championship in my career? So many of them. It doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah, they want to get paid.
Yeah. At 22, it's different. Listen, the NBA is wonderful because there are so many great, young, talented guys in there. But let's not forget the word young. And it's just different. I don't know how else. Listen, I love Bones too, okay? I don't want to see him go. I love his energy. Every single interaction I've had with him, and that's many, has been nothing but positive, okay? But this is, guys, it's just too much right now. It's too distracting. There's too much wasted energy. Michael Malone has to defend him to me and everybody else. It's a waste of time. And here we are talking about this guy who played 4 minutes and contributed nothing. Nothing. He was a detriment. In fact, the whole bench was terrible basically yesterday. Yeah. We're not talking about Nikola Jokic with another triple-double, which is ridiculous. They're 16-0 when he has a triple-double. Jamal Murray had 7 3-pointers, a season high for him, and looked absolutely phenomenal. Guys, they don't need Bones on this team, and they don't have time to develop him. Christian Brown is a better defensive replacement for Bizzy off the bench, and you have the best 3-point shooting team in the NBA without him. So, I mean, listen, I'll tell you this. Bol has a new life in Orlando and is better as a human being and a basketball player for it. Bones needs to go to Washington. I don't know, somewhere where they're going to win maybe 30 games this year. And so we can play 28 to 34 minutes a game and, and develop, and he'll be happier too. You would think it's about a championship, but these guys think they'll never die. They think they're unbeatable when they're so young. They just don't think like that. It's not how they perceive the world. And you should put up his Instagram from last night, which was posted. We checked it. 6 minutes. 6 minutes after we were in the press room. Jake didn't even mention he had already left. 6 minutes after everything was said and done. Bones was posting this. What do you suppose this means?
I don't know, but this is what pisses me off. I hate the cryptic messages.
You should read it too because it's hard to see, but you should read it.
It says, in the back of my mind, I hear the clock ticking with some smoke. In his car, what's a fancy car that has lights on the top like that? I don't know what it is anyway.
Well, what I will say is we better get used to this because this is just the Gen Z athlete. Like, Bones is one of the first Gen Z athletes we're covering here in Denver. Like, this is going to be the story of our generation the next 10, 15 years.
But if I'm Michael Malone, I'm saying, fine, leave.
Okay, but this is a failure of Michael Malone.
And he doesn't post crap like that. I don't see PS2 posting crap like that. I would venture they're pretty much the same age.
Kyler Murray does this stuff. Like, that's just what these guys do. But when they're unhappy, but this is a failure of Michael Malone. Like, the fact that this has not been communicated to Bones Hyland clearly what he needs to do and his development moving forward. Like, the Nuggets drafted a potential star player late in the first round with Bones Hyland. People don't just shoot like that. People don't just create like that. Coming out of college, and
J.R. Smith light. He's Will Barton 2.0.
It's not anything like that. Bones, every single player that has matched Bones Hyland's production in their sophomore or rookie year has gone to an all-star game at some point in their career. He is set for stardom. So the fact that a defensive coach in Michael Malone couldn't coach this guy to be an okay defender, I think is a bigger indictment on Malone than it is Bones.
Well, there's some physical problems with Bones being a defender. I mean, you can't get over the fact that his nickname is Bones. I mean, he is, I'm not going to say he's frail, but he is the lightest, skinniest NBA player I've ever seen. With like, he's not going to get bulkier, bigger, and he's really not going to be a better defender. And so that is mitigated if he's like a lightning rod and he comes in the game and he really can, generate offense. But guys, he can only do that with the ball in his hands. Are you sure you want the ball in Bones' hands when Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic are on the court? You sure about that? It doesn't fit here. It doesn't fit here. And it's nothing against a great young man that we all like. But yes, he raced out to make a comment on Instagram rather than face the music in the locker room. That is true too. That and Michael Malone is left there. And sorry, dude, eventually somebody is gonna throw a question your way about a guy who used to get 20 minutes a game that's sitting for 4. And we're talking about the trade deadline. What are we, like 2 weeks away from the trade deadline?
So 2 things, D-Mac. February 9th is the trade deadline. We're talking about all this while yesterday he was named to the Rising Stars game.
Right. So I'm sorry that it's awkward and uncomfortable. And I get it. The Nuggets media in general, holy cow, do they treat these guys with kid gloves? Goodness, I like everybody in there, but wow. Okay, it's just different. And I'm not saying it's bad because their season's going great. So there's really not a lot of critical things to say about this team. This is a distraction. This is an issue, and they simply need to move on. I think me and you, Will, are on the same page, and I think Jake's coming around to it. And Rachel, I think you're on the same side as Will. I just like Bones, I think, better. I think you guys are ticked off at him and are just done with them. I'm not ticked off at him, but I do realize it's time to move on from him. And Jake is kind of late to the party here.
Yeah, but Bones created this problem, right, D-Mac? If Bones had just stayed in his lane, right, and just stayed in his lane and accepted his role, he could have been a key part of a championship team. For whatever reason, Jake started the conversation by saying that something's going on that we don't know about. This train got off the tracks, and it got off the tracks quickly, and it's Bones' fault. I'm almost 99.9% sure, because I don't think Michael Malone woke up one day and said, you know what, I'm going to start being mean to Bones, and I'm going to take away Bones' playing time. No. Bones started leaving the arena. Bones started being cryptic on social media. Bones started playing poorly. And then Michael Malone had to make those adjustments.
D-Mac, you said it. Face the music. I'm sorry. You are a professional athlete in this country. You're not happy? Go face the music then. And I know you're not going to go out there and you're not going to say, oh, Michael Malone's benching me or whatever it is. But stick around. Do your job. That's why I'm annoyed by it.
I got to tell you. There is zero chance that dude took a shower after the game. And Jake, it's not possible, right?
And then don't go on social media and be like, oh my gosh, whatever, when you know you're just adding fuel to the fire. Like, that's what pisses me off. Yes, I totally like Bones. Bones has always been incredible. He's always had a smile on his face. But don't go out there when you know everyone is watching you and post all this cryptic stuff. That's what pisses me off.
I'm not against any of that. Like, that doesn't bother me. That's just the way he communicates. And the fact of the matter is,
Denver Nuggets.
The fact of the matter is, Rachel, you're 27 now. I'm 27. These guys are a little older than us. Like, Bones is 22, I think. he's not. He's a kid. Like
Yeah,
this
young.
isn't an easy thing for Bones. Like to be the center of attention, taking away from your teammates while they're in this incredible run.
Himself the center of attention.
I don't think he did. I think that this started because he got a finger injury. He started shooting poorly. He got affected confidence-wise in his abilities, and then his coach didn't have his back. That was my read on the situation so far. And I think he's going to get dealt, and it might be a mistake years to come down the line, but all that matters right now is can the Nuggets maximize literally the greatest month any single NBA players had this past month, Nikola Jokic, going into this playoff run. So if they flip Bones Hyland for Alex Caruso and Alex Caruso helps them win a title this year, so be it. That's awesome. But I don't think that Alex Caruso is that guy. So how do you get the right fit? Because right now, Bones is just about better of a fit or what Bones could be than a lot of the guys they could get.
Yeah, but again, Bones is the one that's continuing this. Michael Malone is saying, hey, I stand with you. Bones is the one giving the Denver Nuggets a bad look right now when we should be talking about Nikola Jokic averaging a triple-double and the insane stats on this team. But instead, we're talking here about Bones Hyland, a 22-year-old. That's great. I'm happy you're a 22-year-old. You're making a lot of money to be able to go out there and play a game of basketball that you absolutely love. So act that mature. Act like you're not this huge commotion. Don't be the fire when instead we should be talking about the good things of this team.
See,
I don't care if you're 22. That's BS.
This conversation is the problem. What are we doing? They are the top team in the West. They just put down, listen, they shouldn't have even won that game yesterday. They were down by 12, and that Pelicans team was fired up. They had lost 8 games in a row. And it's seriously like late in a bad second quarter, the Nuggets caught fire. And Michael Malone said, hey, I'm proud of you guys that it's only a 3-point deficit. It could have been much worse. And at the end of the game, that game wasn't even close. You know, Nikola Jokic came back into the game with 8:41 left in the fourth. They were up by 10. Guys, how many games are they going to be up by 10 with 8 minutes to go and Jokic comes back in that they lose? Are you kidding me? They got past the Magic 120 points. They got 122, and they did it all without Bones. And, you know, at the end of the day, the only question you have to ask for the Nuggets this year is what's best for Nikola Jokic. And if there's somebody out there, including Bones, and that's not what's best for Nikola Jokic, that's got to go. The end. It's that myopic. It's that simple. Your window is that small right now, and you can't mess around with it. So for whatever happens in the rest of Bones' career, and while I certainly personally wish him the best in whatever that is, this train cannot slow down for any reason whatsoever. It's got to all be about Jokic. Next, it's got to be about Jamal Murray because he's that good. And I'll tell you a guy who's not saying a word and being just fine is Michael Porter Jr. Not a distraction, playing his role. No problems with Michael Porter Jr. at all. And that was the guy you were worried about the most. And he is a non-issue. He's a really good teammate right now, and he's playing his role excellently. Not complaining, no body language that's bad. He's doing a good job.
And that's why we don't have Boogie Cousins on this team anymore because
what
Jokic says is what goes. So it's interesting. We obviously love being able to have heated discussions here. That's what makes the show so fun. And everybody in the comments too, we love reading it. But I know most guys aren't fans of The Bachelor, but we do have 2 guys here who are a fan of The Bachelor. And one of them is named Richie Carney, which we will bring in to the mix. And you guys, I know most guys, like I said, they don't want to watch The Bachelor, but we're going to make this super easy for you. We're going to connect this back to sports. So Richie, take it away. Fill us in so all the gentlemen know, hey, I know what happened on The Bachelor. They can go to their wives, their girlfriends, fiancés, whatever it is, but they don't have to spend the 2 hours watching it. Hit it, my friend.
Yeah, Rachel. I mean, honestly, I think if you watch The Bachelor through the lens of a sports fan, I really do think it changes your perspective on it. That's how I've approached it. And I'll give you an example. If you watched this last week's episode, I think you saw a microcosm of the Broncos head coaching search within that 60-minute episode. Allow me to explain. So in this week's episode, you had 2 girls really emerge in the forefront of the episode. You had Brianna and you had Christina. Brianna came out of the gates red hot. She got America's first impression rose. She was the front runner from the beginning. But in this week's episode, we found out a lot about Brianna that's concerning and borderline scary. and I think she's really fallen off. If that doesn't sound familiar to you, I think that sounds a lot like what Greg Penner experienced with Jim Harbaugh. I think Jim Harbaugh was his man from day one. And then I think the more FaceTime you got with him, just like the more FaceTime Zach got with Brianna, things got a little weird. And obviously, we saw what happened with Jim Harbaugh and the Broncos coaching search, and I think Brianna's probably headed down a similar path. On the other hand, you had Christina, who my first impressions were run like the wind bullseye if you're Zach Shallcross, because she had red flags all over the place. Her job is content creator. It was very vague. She never really got into what kind of content she creates. That was the scary part. And she had all these things going wrong for her. But in this week's episode, total 180, in my opinion. She came across as humble. She was genuine. She was down to earth. She's a mom, obviously. And we found out a lot more about that in this episode. It was really wholesome. And to be honest with you, that to me sounds like Sean Payton. I think initially with Sean Payton, there were concerns about he's been out of it. His best accomplishment was in 2009, and he's got some stuff in his personal life. But then the more you get around it, you finally realize that a lot of that stuff is conjecture, and you got to accept the good with the bad. And that to me sounds like Sean Payton. So after this week's episode, I love Christina. I am all team Christina, and I am team Sean Payton. And so, like I said, I really think you can get sports kind of fandom connections through a show, even like The Bachelor, if you're just watching it through the right lens.
I like it. Will Peterson, my other Bachelor watcher. What did you
Oh my
think?
God, there's more. I think I gotta go.
Richie hit it all. Brianna, you know what, Brianna? America loved you, and you fell off a cliff. Because every time you go and talk to Zach, it's so dramatic. It's not fun. It's not light. And Christina,
So insecure.
She's going to be crying on those stairs. So you can say she's Sean Payton now, but I hope she's not. I hope Sean Payton's not crying on any stairs at Dove Valley. I'll say that much.
D-Mac, you cannot tell me that watching what's the movie? Home Team?
Home team.
It's not something close to the best. Don't lose your glasses, please. Richie, good to know. I'm glad I kind of have an idea of what happened on The Bachelor this week. Does this mean that Christina's going to win it all? Is she going to sign with Zach?
I don't know if she's going to win it all because you never know what's going to happen. But I will tell you this. I did a complete 180 on Christina. I am totally in her corner. And if Zach doesn't fall in love with her, I honestly think that I might.
Okay. Interesting. All right. That is going to do it. Richie, thank you for hanging out with us. Will, you too. To Jake, also on the back end, thank you guys for hopping in. To everybody in the comments, we appreciate it. To my $15 coffee delivery driver, thank you so much for saving my day. And to everybody else, we will see you tomorrow morning, 10:30 a.m. for another episode of Coffee Break. Have a wonderful Wednesday, everybody. Peace.